みんな、こんにちは。元気だそこ。私はセルクスカリアンです。Alright, I started watching this, pretty casually, and I was like, I got to this point, and I was like, okay, I want to say something about this because I'm a bit of a yapper myself. So, uh, again, I'm going to be cutting out a bunch of parts so that people go back and watch this specific video, right? Because I don't know if they want to be making money or whatever the case is. I'm going to go back to the beginning. Um, I have a couple of things to say, but it's not like I'll be trying to like no, just like a comparison between how differently two people play this game, because the way that I see this person playing this game is completely different from the way I play this game, and I find that really interesting. So I'm gonna go back to the beginning real quick. Um, she apologizes a lot. I kind of don't like that. I just want to hear the complaints, okay? Just like, I mean, from what I can see, she's playing on console, right? So uh let's I'll just, you know what? I'll just let the video play, and we'll talk about uh well, you know how I react, right? I will pause, sorry, and then talk about the situation and blah blah blah. Okay, let's
I
move.
genuinely loved them all. General problems that I had with the game. And again, I'll say it one more time.
Can I just say the way that you took down this stupid enemy? I wish I could do that, but my characters aren't really that well built. But gosh dang, I I spent like maybe 3 minutes trying to kill any of these enemies. I hate them so much. Moving on.
My, however, for me, the traversal has started to feel more and more like a chore.
Okay, so for those people who are on my channel, right? I know not a lot of you are gonna be on my channel anyway, but I want you to pay very close attention to what is going on, not only in the background, but also to what this YouTuber is saying. Okay? And then I'm gonna pause, and then I'm gonna talk about. I didn't get to see the entire video, by the way. I after I reached this part, I was like, okay, I definitely have a lot of things to say about this specific part of the video. I don't know what the rest of the video was like, but this specific part, I'm a bit of a yapper, so I want to at least say something about it.
I feel like at this point in the game, given how many years it has been out and how much revenue this game has brought in, the traversal should have been significantly improved by now. I just don't understand why our stamina has to be depleted while we're running around if there are no enemies surrounding us.
Okay, so the stamina has practically always been a problem. I don't understand why only the first two regions of this game allowed stamina upgrades and then nothing else. Like the it's very likely that Shinazunaya will not have any stamina upgrades when it comes to their to the Statue of the Seven. And that's just straight up why, right? Like the world itself is so big. Why are you not giving us more stamina upgrades? And it's even worse when you're a new player. I have 4 servers in this game, guys. For those people who might have come to this channel um from her channel, right? I have 4 servers. America, Europe, Asia, and the Hong Kong server. I play this game a lot. and I've had to start over 3 separate times. The first time I didn't really know what I was doing, but the other 3 times I knew what I was doing at that specific point in time. I believe my Hong Kong server has reached AR35. The other two, my Europe is AR45, and my Asia is like 51. My main America server is level 58. Okay? So I've been playing this game for quite some time and I put my effort and time into it. Okay? No money. No money. Why are we not getting more stamina upgrades? They have so many places to go and no stamina upgrades. No more. Just literally the first two regions, Mondstadt and Liyue. None of the others. Why? Like, at least put some into Inazuma. Why would they cap the stamina at this specific point in time? It's an open world game, right? Why is that an issue that they haven't fixed for about 3.5 years now? Because you had to first release Mondstadt and Liyue and then start doing this thing where you're not giving any more stamina upgrades. So around about 1.5 years, 3.5 years. Why? Hoyo isn't going to hear me, of course, but I still want to shout to the world, why no more stamina upgrades? Moving on.
You're basically being slowed down for no reason. In combat, it makes sense for your stamina to deplete because if you had unlimited stamina while fighting, there would barely be any difficulty in the game, right? But being slowed down for no reason while trying to explore just feels bad to me. Climbing up cliffs has always been an annoyance to me, even when Genshin was the only game that I played. But now it just feels almost unbearable. It feels so painfully slow, and because of the stamina constantly depleting again, and randomly falling off and then having to start over again, I just don't want to do it anymore. It's come to the point where I'm reluctant to go certain places or complete certain things just because the traversal feels so sluggish to me now. So sometimes I just won't complete things at all simply for that reason. And Genshin has made some improvements to the traversal in Atlan anyway. Now we can basically possess the Saurians and use their abilities to traverse more quickly and more easily, which is nice, but you have to find the Saurian first and there might not be one around in the area that you need it in. Another thing they've done is they have added traversal abilities to some of the Natlan characters. With Kachina, you can go up cliffs much more easily. With Milani, you can cross the waters more quickly, etc., etc. But what if we don't have these characters? Or what if we do, but we don't want to use them at that time? Now we have to edit our party to swap someone out for the character that we do need, just so we can move around more easily.
All right. I actually have several teams that are specifically designed for traversal in different areas of this game. I have one for Fontaine, for swimming. I have one for Natlan. And I understand where she's coming from. It is annoying to have to switch characters. But here's the thing. When I make these teams, I don't fight with them. I stay far, far away whenever I use these teams for traversal. They are only for getting to places and unlocking teleport waypoints. And that is it. If I feel like I might be going to a certain place because I have to fight, or if I see something I might want to fight along the way, I add Xiao to the team. For instance, my team for traversing Natlan, I believe, is Xiao, Knish, Zhongli, and Kachina. But sometimes I switch out Kachina for Sayu instead, every now and then. Now, remember when I told you to pay attention to what's going on? I'm not trying to bash this YouTuber or anything like this, but I don't know why you would, you know, traverse a region with none of the characters that they were kind of expecting you to do it with. Yeah, I mean, I know not everybody can get the 5-star characters. I understand that. For instance, Mabuhika is like what she literally almost power crept the rest of the Natlan um crew with her with her traversal skills alone, right? But I don't want Mabuhika right now. I'm saving up for getting a C1 Shao when the Liyue Chronicled Wish is released, right? I will pull for her at another specific point in time. I don't know when, but I definitely want to be able to move around really, really quick with her motorcycle and stuff. But like, this is, I'm confused because there are several, more than two handfuls of characters in this game that allow you to traverse the open world a lot more efficiently than Chiori, Navia, Furina, and Jean. Hell, even Chiori is part of that group. Why aren't you using her to traverse? Right? So make a team for traversal only and stay away from fighting. If you have that kind of a bloodlust, I don't know what to tell you. I, this is just advice, by the way. I mean, if you choose not to use a Natlan characters, but then complain about not being able to traverse Natlan, I'm, 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 I'm confused. Even with the Saurians, right? Even, I mean, oh, for, the Saurians are just, they're annoying to me, personally. Uh, I pulled for Kanish because he was a man, not because of his traversal, but because he was a man. His traversal just so happened to have been one of the points towards his overall um attractability towards me, right? Okay, so there are so many characters in this game that allow you to traverse more easily, and you're not using any of them. There's Wanderer, there's Traska, there's Sayu, there's Yelan, there's Venti, there's Geo Traveler for climbing up cliffs. Most cliffs, anyway. If the cliff is concave, then you can't really put anything there. But still, you know what I mean? And not to mention, Geo Traveler is what the not is it the glitch archon or something like that, where you did most of the out of bounds glitches in this game come from using Geo Traveler, and I find that actually kind of funny. Right? There's Kanish, there's Shilonen, there's Lynette, who is free, by the way. There's Kachina, who's also free. You could also technically count Farina if you want to, as well as Kokomi for traversing water. Technically, but you still have to use stamina to run anyway, so there's that, right? There's Mualani, there's Mabuhika, there's Shao, there's Kazuha, right? And then there's Zhongli and Albedo for vertical movement. I don't see you doing any of that in this video. I'm very confused because they make it very clear that Kachina is supposed to be used in Natlan for traversing up cliffs, and Shilonen is just a 5-star version of Kachina, and Kachina is free. Now, depending on when you played, I'm not 100% certain about when you get Kachina. I think after after the very first section of the Natlan story quest, Kachina literally just pops up in your inventory, right? I understand if you don't want to keep her on your team for traversal, but then you don't get to complain about it afterwards. You have the character. She was given to you unless some people go to the region and don't do the story quests and there's um traverse the entire area, get all of the waypoints, get all of the statues of the seven, and then go do the the story quest. I mean the Archon quest. Um, because that is an insane way to play this game. Not to mention you're hampering yourself doing this. But I mean, hey, you can play it as you want. Just I'm very curious as to why you would then come to complain about not having characters when the game hands them to you and says, "Hey, this character is really good at climbing cliffs," and when her 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 bar runs out, you start using the little red bar down at the bottom of your screen, and standing close to any waypoints refills it, and then you can also do this little activate thing, and then you can refill it, and then run around the map as much as you like. It's specifically in Notlon at the very least. And then for every other region, you have, like I said, Sayu is a 4-star that you could possibly get. Like Lynette. Lynette is free when after you do some Spiral Abyss stuff, I think, right? Well, I happen to get her in the gacha. So there was that. I maybe I should just continue on because I don't know. People might not want to make an entire team based on just simply running around as quickly as possible. I mean, I do it because I want to be efficient. I have for the font from my Fontaine uh, uh, underwater exploration team, I have Neuvillette and Fremene, which helps me a lot underwater. And both of them are built to be DPSs, so I don't have any issue there with literally just using Neuvillette and Fremene, which, by the way, I usually also pair up with Zhongli, because Zhongli is just like the boss, and he almost never leaves any of my teams. But just saying, pull for characters that have traversability. That's it. And sometimes, again, there are 4-stars who have good amounts of traversability, like Sayu. Yeah, she's short. She can't run all that fast, but her skill is pretty good. You don't use stamina while using her skill. I'm not. I just I'm kind of confused. You know. Um. I'm gonna keep listening, and I guess we'll talk about anything else that might come across little later on.
When I think a simple solution would be to just make traversal better, period. It feels like instead they're solving issues in the most inconvenient way possible. For example, like I just mentioned, Kachina's ability that allows us to go off cliffs easily. That could have been an item that we could just equip and then use no matter what character we're using.
Oh! I just realized why they do this. It's for money. Yeah, they want you to spend money to get the character so you can traverse better. I think that's the bottom line of this entire game. They want you to use the gacha so that you can get the characters who can move around and well, here's the thing about that, Hoyo. I am free to play, and I have literally every single character that I've ever wanted, just from playing the game, right? Getting primogems, saving them up, and then if I don't happen to get the character on their first when their first banner, I wait until their next rerun, no matter how long that might be. If I really want a character, I can save up my money, quote unquote money, the primogems. I don't have to spend a single cent on this game to traverse. Not to mention, I kind of already have a lot of characters who can traverse pretty well. So I don't have this problem. But I guess I can understand if like you only pull for characters who have a lot of like DPS capabilities, then I guess that's just a problem you're gonna have to deal with, because they do give you the option to get characters who can do better traversal. But I mean, if it's her problem, it's her problem. I don't have this problem. I might have some other problems that she doesn't have. And I don't think she can help me with those either. So let's move on. Let's see what else she has to say. Um, but yeah, the baseline is money. They don't want to give you free to play options as much as possible. They want to give you the bare minimum and be like, oh, here's a free Kachina. But you know what's even better than Kachina? Shilonen. Shilonen. Ooh. Spend money. Yeah, spend money to get Shilonen. You can go faster and higher with Shilonen than Kachina. Eh, you don't have to worry about Kachina. Let Kachina go with the people who don't pay. Ugh, I bet that's what Hoyoverse is saying. Anyway, let's move on.
They have shown us that they know how to make traversal feel better, and they have the means to do it. So why lock it behind certain characters instead of just giving everyone a better traversal experience overall? Another huge pain point for me is the fact that certain materials can only be farmed on certain days.
Ah, yes. Everyone has a problem with this mechanic. Trust me when I say this. Literally, everyone who plays this game has this specific problem as well. They don't like it. No one who plays this game likes that, because a lot of people, I'd say maybe like 90% of the people who play Genshin Impact have jobs. They have lives. They can't play every single day like I can and farm on every day like I used to back in the past. Literally, I would hop from one domain to the other every single day. I would use my fragile resin if I had to, right? I would hop from every single domain that I could get materials from and just farm them once. One domain, and then I would go to the next one. One domain in Mushtat, one domain in Liyue, one domain in Inazuma, and then Sumeru came out, and I started using up too much resin doing that, so I had to pick and choose which ones that I would try every single day, because there's I used to be able to do both the weapon and the talent domains um in all three regions every day. So I used to stack up materials just like I didn't have the characters who needed these things. I was just literally hoarding. I was like, I'm definitely going to need these in the future, and yep, I definitely need them in the future. But I do not understand why they had to put it behind certain days, because you have to remember Hoyoverse is not thinking about the Western community when they do this. They're only thinking about their Chinese people. So I'm really curious as to why they're trying to raise their players' screen time by forcing them to play every day if they need material, or play on certain days when they need material. Um, unless you count Saturdays and Sundays. I think no, it's only Sundays, isn't it? When you can choose which materials you want. It's on a Sunday, right? That's fine. I usually have time to do that, but then I usually have time to also deal with the daily stuff. And then sometimes I'm like, oh, I need some more of this stuff. I don't like how low I'm getting. And then I check it and I'm like, oh shoot, it's tomorrow. Well, I definitely won't be wanting to play Genshin Impact tomorrow, so screw me, I guess. You know, stuff like that. I completely understand. Yeah, everyone can relate to you with this. Everyone can relate. Everyone can relate. Trust me. Moving on.
And again, when I was only playing Genshin, I didn't think there was anything wrong with that or abnormal or anything. But of course, having played other games now, I am left sitting here thinking, why? This by far is probably one of the worst things about the game, in my opinion. I very recently pulled Mavuika and was looking forward to using her. I hopped on Genshin one day ready to farm materials for the weapon that I wanted to use on her, and then realized, oh, I'm not able to farm these materials at all today. And sure, there are other days that I could farm. But what if I don't want to farm those days? What if I'm busy? Then I have to wait for when I'm ready to farm and hope that it's on a day in which I'm able to do so. This restriction feels so unnecessary. And again, the developers have shown us that they have the means to do it and that they can change that because they've already done it, only in a very specific situation. So when you stop playing Genshin for 2 weeks,
Okay. So you did get Malvika, but you're not using her in Notland? I am. Huh? I don't want to say what I'm thinking right now because I'm not that type of person, right? You know how some people say if you have something that if you don't have something nice to say, don't say it all. Well, in this case, I'm like, okay, so wait, you're complaining about this reversal in Notlon when you literally have the Archon that can use all of the Saurian's abilities except for Kanish. Kanish um was not power crap by Mabuhika. But literally all of the Notlon crew except for Kanish was power crept by the Archon, which you have, and you're not using her at the very least for traversal. Yes, the Stellar Reunion is a thing where you're like, oh, you can choose whatever you want to do. But have you never farmed on a Sunday? Because you can also choose what materials you get when you farm on a Sunday. You know, actually, I can actually kind of understand if some people have never known about this before because one of my friends who plays this game, I'm like, oh, I'll just farm on a Sunday. It's no matter. He's like, why? And I'm like, oh, well, because I can choose which materials I want to farm on a Sunday. His family does not allow games on Sundays, so he never knew that on Sundays you can farm whatever you want in the domains, and it was surprising to him. So I guess I can kind of understand if she didn't know that you could just farm on a Sunday instead for whatever materials that you need and stack up on your fragile resin throughout the week. Farm on a Sunday. I guess some people Sundays are too busy for them to know, but just in case people didn't know, you can choose what you want on a Sunday. Uh, just putting that out there, just in case you didn't know.
is the lack of a skip button. And even though I think that players should get to choose whether or not they want to experience the story, I'm actually not talking about skipping the story. I'm talking about skipping completely useless dialogue, such as dialogue we are forced to button mash through in daily commissions, for example. There is no reason why we shouldn't be able to skip those cutscenes. We have all experienced Timmy asking us to feed the pigeons a million times. Why do we have to sit through it again and again and again?
Yep. You know, it's kind of funny when people bring up the dreaded three words in Genshin Impact, the skip button. Everyone is immediately on one side or the other. They're like, yeah, we should definitely have a skip button. The Archon quests are so long and boring. And then there are the other people who are like, what are you talking about? The people who are already mashing through the story and using incorrect lore on the internet is just it's just gonna make it worse. Look, we already have that problem, people. The introduction of a skip button is not going to change that. Just saying. It's not going to change the people who mash through the text and then give incorrect lore in the comments. Why would not you? Okay, you remember when I said earlier that I have 4 servers in this game? Not 4 accounts. No, 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 no. 4 servers. You know at the bottom of the screen when you log in, there's like a little gray text that might say America, or it's for some of you it might say Europe, some of you might say Asia. Well, if you tap on that, you'll get a list of 4 servers: America, Europe, Asia, and Taiwan, Hong Kong. I have accounts in literally all 4 of those. My connection isn't the best, but again, you remember the AR levels of these servers that I mentioned, right? I had to sit through so many Archon quests, and my connection ain't that good with all of these servers. So you know what happens sometimes? I get cut off. And guess what happens when you get cut off during an Archon quest, guys? You get put back to the beginning again, and you have to sit through without a skip button 3 separate times for 3 servers. Guys, if you're not at least, however, if you're not gonna give anybody else a skip button, at least give me a skip button, please. I already went through the Archon quests very carefully on my main server, America. Please just give me specifically. I don't care about the others. Like, give me specifically a skip button, please, because I am dreading having to go through the Natlan Archon quest on my Taiwan Hong Kong server, or even hell, even the I think I already went through the Fontaine Archon quest on my Taiwan Hong Kong server, but oh my gosh, they make these Archon quests so long, and they put you in domains where you think you have control over your characters, but if you get disconnected, you know what happens? You have to sit through the entire thing again and have to go through the entire domain again, and you can't skip anything. I understand your pain, my dear. I understand it so well. Even more so me. And more recently, one of the YouTubers who decided to do a free-to-play account realizes that, hey, he sat through all of these. I think he hit AR60 on his main account, didn't he? He sat through all of the lore. He does he interacts with like the lore crafters and stuff like that, and like, oh, that's interesting. And then he started a new one. He was like, I would like a skip button. I already went through this. I don't need to go through it again. Even, yeah, for like the commissions, like she said. Just give us, and it's not like they don't know how to do it, because I started playing Zenless Zone Zero recently, and they have a skip button for everything in that game. They give you a little condensed version of what's happening when you hit the skip button. I think I hit it once by accident, and I was like, wait, oh, that's cool. Why don't they have this in Genshin? I have absolutely no freaking idea why they don't have this in Genshin. Because they have it in Zenless Zone Zero. Why don't they have it in Genshin? I mean, they clearly know how to do it. And I don't think it's for money reasons either. So why? Moving on.
Maybe there are players who don't care about the lore at all.
Yep. There are a lot of players who don't care about the lore, and they only want the big titty waifu and want to run around the world, not bothering with any embassy, not bothering with any Archon, not caring about any war. You just want to play with and mash buttons and destroy things. They don't care about the lore. It's like every game has this. where they don't care about the story, they only care about the gameplay. It's it's not it's not like limited to Genshin or anything. There, if there's a game, people will not care about any story, and if there happens to be no story in certain cases, they get bored. So I don't know what you want. Moving on.
Been asking for years.
Yeah, the artifact loadout stuff is it would be nice, especially with the amount of artifacts that they keep adding. Hmm? Yeah, and the whole resin capping out thing is also a problem. I didn't realize that Zenless Zone Zero had a reserves thing because I don't play Honkai Star Rail, nor do I play any of Hoyo versus other games except for Zenless Zone Zero. And the only reason why I'm even still playing that game is because of Harabasa. This man has me in a chokehold. I would have stopped playing weeks ago if this man did not exist and I did not get him for free because of some event that was going on. My gosh, this man. Anyway, uh, I didn't. I was looking through my inventory, and I saw that I had something. Um, and when I clicked on it, I was like, "Wait, hold on. Is this a wait? I can get resin, quote unquote, in that game. Their energy system is called battery charges, and well, there's like a bigger battery that stores in your inventory, and apparently, I think if you use one, you get like 60, which is nice. And also, another thing that Zenless Zone Zero has over Genshin is the ability to farm anything you want when you want. Literally, just choose, go do the sub back and forth. It's like, okay, I want to like stack up on every single type of the chips for the agent's skills. So I would like literally pick every single one of them, play through it once, and then move on. And I'm not locked behind a specific day. Uh huh. I mean, yeah, I can see problems with Genshin, but I still like the game. People like Zhongli and Neuvillette have me in a chokehold. So I don't think I'm going to be dropping this until they start doing some like AI nonsense. But moving on.
For once, they were going to give us 20 whole pulls, which for Genshin is huge. I mean, that's like giving away 1,000 pulls for them, let's be honest. And I was excited about those rewards until I learned that we were not going to get those 20 pulls until after both Mavuika and Seat Lolly's banners were over.
Yep, everyone is upset about this, except for me and a very small minority um of the community that does not care about the females and pulling every single character. I don't care about that. But for the rest of the people who wanted Mabuhika and um I'm not gonna say her name because I want to get the proper pronunciation of it. The other, they have never done this before. For those people who don't play Genshin, they have never put two new characters on the in the same patch, on the same banner, the the, the same what's the word I'm looking for? The same cycle. I'm pretty sure they've never done this before, and everyone is mad about it, except for like the very small minority of people who don't care, because they didn't want these characters to begin with. They just want the pulls, right? So they don't care that two new characters were released in the same cycle, but the same phase, right? Right. That's the correct word for it. First phase, and there, I'm 100% certain that they did this so that um players panic because they have a a kind of a reputation about cryo characters right about now, where they get put into cryo jail in quotation marks, where there has not been cryo character reruns in like over 6 months. They came out of this about late last year, maybe, but overall, the cryo characters have not been rerun, and I'm thinking that they want to push this agenda of, oh, if you don't get this cryo character right now, you're not going to see her again for like another year. And then they put her on a banner with the most sought after character, which is an Archon. And then they're like, oh, you better get this character right now. She's an Archon. And then they try to make people panic and do the whole FOMO thing. And for those people who don't know what FOMO means, that's fear of missing out. If you don't get the cryo character right now, you ain't gonna get her. And oh, but there's also the Archon. Well, time to swipe the card. It's very predatory, but only for the people who pay money. For me, I'm a pretty chill player when it comes to this game. I don't really care. Characters will get reruns eventually. So, if I really want a character, like I did with Xiao, my computer was down when Xiao's banner was first released. I didn't get a chance to pull for him. So, you know what I did? I started hate saving. I didn't really want him at the time, but because I didn't even get a chance, that was entirely my fault, by the way. I saved for him for, I think, over 3 months. I wasn't within the leaks community at that time, right? I just saved up for him because I was like, he's going to rerun at some point. I had literally 100 intertwined fates saved up by the time he came around again. And I think I had to use like 50 of them. I didn't pull for any other character while I was saving up for him. Free-to-play players are scary, guys. Just say. Moving on.
I knew that one reason was because I spent money on the game and I felt bad abandoning it after doing so.
Ah, I see. Yeah, yeah. I think every single game that gets you to pay will do this to you. Because you're like, oh, I spent so much money on this game. I don't want to abandon it. You know, like, they have my credit card information now. It's like, this is why, as a free to play, I am free to drop any game that I so desire. But yeah, I feel bad that you decided to spend money on this game, because now I understand why you're so upset, because you're thinking, oh, my money's going towards this game. It should be getting better. Okay, number one, this is a Chinese game. I just want to put that out there real quick. They don't really care about the Western community and the English speaking community. They are doing it for their Chinese player base. Remember this, because they do not care about the Western community's money in the slightest. Chinese players have this sort of, or should I say, the Chinese community in general, not just games. The Chinese community have this thing where it's only China for China mentality. They will put all of their savings into the games that come from China. They will buy Chinese things. They will support Chinese related businesses out the wazoo. You understand me? Most of Hoyoverse's money is coming from the Chinese. They do not care about the rest of us. If you want to drop the game, even if you spend money on it, They are not going to notice, even if you're a whale, because the Chinese are spending more than you a million times over. Just drop it if you don't feel like playing it anymore. And yeah, there's I can kind of understand the whole I put money into this. I need to play it, but at the same time, nobody's forcing you to do something. You have to remember this. You have autonomy over your body, over your mind. If you don't want to do something, don't do it. Put it down, step away. In fact, nobody's forcing you to watch this video either. Isn't it funny to think about? Nobody is holding a gun to your head saying, you better watch this video. You could pause right now, get up, and go do something else. It's kind of funny how people are like, I have to do this or I have to do that. No, you're just scared of the consequence of not doing such things. You ever think about how much people prey on the feeling of, oh, if you don't do this, this is going to happen? And it's just not consequential. Like, yeah, you spend money on the game. It's not like the game is going to fall apart if you decide to drop it. Exactly. You know what you want. You understand the reason that you don't want to play the game anymore. Let's see if she actually decided to drop it or not.
Don't think it's worth holding on anymore.
Well, you could just put the game down and then come back if the game does change at the very least. Fortunately for me, I kind of had this situation come to me. I was one of the people who pre-registered for Wuthering Waves, and first day I played it. I played it as soon as it came out, right? And it was horrible. I was so into wanting to be able to play, but there was so much lag, and I wasn't able to rebind my keys. I was like, you know what? Even though I pre-registered and I was so excited about this game, I'm gonna put it down for a couple of months, see if it gets any better. And a couple of months went by, and I picked up the game again, and every single problem that I had back then was still a problem. There was horrible lag every single step that I took. My ping was permanently red for some odd reason because the game should have auto sorted me into one of the categories, like how the game like auto sort you into like the America server or the Europe server depending on where you are. I'm in the Caribbean, by the way. So normally games would sort me into either America or Europe. For whatever reason, WUA sorted me into an area where I think I had the worst possible connection to it. Not to mention, it sucked up my computer's resources so badly. It was terrible. And then on top of that, they still did not let me rebind my keys. So I dropped it again. And I decided that, you know what, I'm just not gonna try playing it anymore. Despite the fact that I put all of this time and effort into pre-registering, like doing the little pre-register event where you could choose an echo, right? Which, by the way, I didn't get. I don't understand. I think I hit rover level 20, and like 10 was the minimum, and the 5-star echo that I had chosen in the event was not handed to me in the mail, and I'm still very confused about that. It's been like about a year now, or something like that. I don't understand what's going on. Moving on.
To become a habit that you will have a difficult time breaking.
Okay. I think I'm gonna end give my closing remarks. That ended here. So, I believe I have said all that I have to say. It's oh my gosh, I've literally been recording for about an hour now. Whoops. Um. So yeah, she did quit. Good on you, because it was important that you move away from the toxic relationship you had with the gacha game. It's good, very good. Um, if you happen to, uh, I don't even know what I was gonna say. It's like, hmm, there are some people who get, they might want to know why or how people can play from day one. By the way, which I not really technically I started playing a week after global release because I actually didn't know this game existed. My friend who was a beta tester was like, "Hey, you want to play this game with me?" And I was like, I looked it up and I was like, this doesn't look like the kind of game I would enjoy." But then I played it, and then I got hooked hoarding materials. So I think what each player, um it's important that each player has a core something that they enjoy in every game that they play. And if that something is no longer enjoyable for them, then you should drop it. For me, I think there are two things in this game that I enjoy, and for 4 years now has not stopped me. It's neither one of these things have been like removed or um hampered in any way. And those two things are hoarding, as I just said, and co op play. I co op with people a lot. And let me tell you something, if you co op, you get an entirely different side of this game. Even though you have seen literally everything and everyone, every NPC, like you went through the entire game. Helping somebody else with their quests, opening chests, fighting monsters, it lends an entirely new breath of fresh air to any game, no matter how many different times you do it. Every single person has a different way they play this game. So, if if Genshin removes co-op and removes the ability to hoard materials, or if they start doing some stupid AI nonsense, only then and only then will I drop this game. Because, like I said, I am very well invested in this game. The characters, the story, I'm here for it, right? I don't really care because, like I said, I'm free to play, so I don't have any monetary intent. Intent, you know the word that I mean, right? I don't have a reason to continue playing because I have to spend money on it, or or something along the lines of that. No. I haven't spent a cent on this game, and I haven't spent a cent on any game ever. Fun fact: if I have a game, it was bought by somebody else. Anyway, Genshin for me, even with all of the little nitpicks, is it's just that nitpicks. I'm a pretty chill player. I'm a pretty casual player. I don't play for meta. I don't play for the waifus. It's very frustrating, however, when I'm playing for the men and literally we had one male 5-star for the entirety of 2024, if I'm remembering this correctly, which was Kanish. What in the hell was that about? But then again, like I said, they don't care about what the Western community thinks. They only want to appeal to their Chinese players. who are a bunch of men. Really. Now, that's not to say that the female community in China who play Genshin Impact is nothing to snuff at either. They are rabid over Wanderer, specifically Wanderer. If you've never seen the female Chinese community go crazy over Wanderer, maybe you shouldn't, because they are insane. And I think that they were also very upset at the fact that Ororon was not when he was leaked. They were They were saying like, Hoyoverse, please make him a 5-star, and Hoyoverse didn't listen to them for some reason, because then they would have to admit that, oh, they were looking at leaks. Oh, you might get your account suspended because of that. The entire I was thinking about dropping it maybe once or twice because of the lack of men, but then I look at Zhongli and I'm like, oh, Zhongli, my beloved, as long as I have you, I don't need anyone else. But in the long run, I am very upset that they're not releasing more male characters. I am very upset. It's very frustrating for me personally. I want the men. Come on. Give me the men. And there are lots of people in the Western community also who are saying, like, yeah, we want more men. You have any idea what the men to female ratio is in this game? Oh my god. Anyway, that is all I have to say, I believe. So, person dropped it. I don't believe I have any advice for somebody who dropped the game. Just saying. But for the people who still play, you can farm on Sundays. Just to, you know, push that out there real quick. Just in case you were getting frustrated over the fact that you could only technically farm on one day. No, not technically. If you have a friend, which is illegal, by the way, according to the rules of this game. If you have a friend who can play the games on a Sunday, you could hand your account to them and tell them, hey, could you do X, Y, and Z for me? Because I can't play on the day that I'm supposed to, but Sunday is the day that I want to be able to grind materials. But I can't because of different reasons. So, hey, could you do that? Account sharing is against the rules, by the way, just saying, which I find annoying and stupid, because when this game was first released, do you know what YouTubers, streamers specifically, were doing on stream for hours at a time? Reviewing people's accounts on stream, licensed by Hoyoverse, by the way. They were getting money from Hoyoverse for streaming the game. And they were breaking the rules by having people literally, like, do a Google document or email them their account information so that they could log in on stream and review their accounts. In the sight of Hoyoverse, even though it's against the... Okay, you know what? I'm gonna stop. Je n'ai